The Phoenix Suns are entering the new season with a fresh roster. But the question on everyone's mind is, what trading assets do they still have left to maneuver with? After a whirlwind of off-season changes, it's clear the Suns' options are rather limited, and that reality could shape their future moves in significant ways. Let's start by examining their current stockpile of draft picks, which, spoiler alert, isn't very substantial. While Phoenix does still hold some first-round picks they can use in the draft, they don't have any first-rounders that are actually available for trade at this moment. One pick that was supposed to become tradable this summer is locked up until 2032 because the Suns have repeatedly stayed within the NBA's second salary cap apron for several seasons, which effectively freezes that pick. The only way to unfreeze it is for Phoenix to avoid that apron for at least 3 out of the next 4 seasons, meaning the earliest they could trade this pick would be after the 2027-28 campaign. This rule puts a long pause on any potential transactions involving that asset. The flurry of activity during the 2025 NBA draft practically used up almost every ounce of trade equity the Suns had left. For example, they acquired center Mark Williams using the 29th pick and a future first-round pick projected to fall in the 20s in 2029. Wanting to stay in that same draft range, Phoenix then maneuvered multiple future second-round picks in a pair of trades to obtain the 31st pick and select Rasheer Fleming. They even regained a second-round pick in 2029 through the Williams deal, as it was essentially their own pick returning to them. This leaves the Suns holding only 2 future second-round selections, one coming from another team, Dallas, Oklahoma City, or Philadelphia in the near term, specifically the second best of those 3 teams' picks, and the other in 2032, which is effectively swapped with another team. So overall, their pool of draft picks that can be used as trade assets is extremely shallow moving forward. What about veteran players? Since shedding the salary cap apron by waiving and stretching the contract of Bradley Beal in mid-July, the Suns' roster has become more flexible, but it seems they missed the prime window to make further trades during the active trade season. This means the team is currently left with a somewhat unbalanced roster heading into the season. On the wings, the biggest names to monitor throughout the year are Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. Despite their experience, both face stiff competition for playing time in a crowded lineup featuring Dillon Brooks, Ryan Dunn, and other emerging players like Rasheer Fleming, Oso Ighodaro, and Kobe Brea. Given the Suns are focused on developing young talent, finding significant minutes for Allen and O'Neal could be tricky. Their trade value might be murky right now. Both have endured 2 seasons with underwhelming team performance, which clouds how evaluators judge their future contributions. Yet a savvy general manager for a playoff contender could find value in acquiring either as role players. Allen's contract is notably hefty. He's due nearly $17 million this season, with raises over the next 2 years, meaning any trade would need to factor in his significant salary. Although Allen has struggled defensively, partly due to Phoenix's lack of defensive support around him, he has maintained a strong work ethic and remains one of the league's top shooters, knocking down 44.5% of his three-pointers last season on a high volume. This elite shooting alone arguably justifies much of his contract. O'Neal, at 32 years old, still offers a savvy basketball IQ and strong all-round play, coming off a career-best 40.6% shooting from three-point range. His contract is more reasonable over the next 3 years, totaling less than $33 million, which could attract interest from teams needing a seasoned wing with solid shooting and defensive versatility. It's likely that both Allen and O'Neal will draw trade inquiries by the deadline, though the returns may be minimal. Nevertheless, the Suns could benefit from trimming their long-term payroll commitments and possibly adding even modest future draft assets in such deals. At the center position, Nick Richards, a 27-year-old acquired mid-season to reinforce the rotation, appears to be the odd man out. Richards brings athleticism, finishing ability, and rebounding strength, and at a $5 million salary, he might be a viable trade candidate for teams needing depth. When Kevin Durant was traded, names like Brooks and Jalen Green were also floated as potential trade options, but the Suns seem to value both of them highly. This situation parallels Allen and O'Neal's, where gauging their true trade worth is complicated and uncertain. Moving on to young talent, the Suns do have some promising players with definite trade value. The 10th overall pick, Kaman Maluach, tops that list with his potential upside. Ryan Dunn showed glimpses of exciting two-way play as a rookie, while Oso Ighodaro possesses a skill set that certain teams covet. Additionally, Rasheer Fleming's talents attracted attention even before the draft's second day concluded. If things go south and impatience sets in, the Suns have the option to fast-track their rebuild by moving these young assets. However, the organization's current strategy appears to reject that mindset. They seem committed to a patient, long-term approach to development and growth. Now, here's the big controversial point. The only surefire way to restock Phoenix's scarce trade assets is to consider trading their star player, Devin Booker. This topic has been debated extensively, as Booker recently signed a contract extension and the franchise has repeatedly stated they have no intention of trading their franchise cornerstone. But this raises an intriguing question. If replenishing assets requires moving Booker, would the Suns resist or eventually accept that substantial trade to jumpstart their future? This is a topic where opinions will undoubtedly diverge, and the conversation is far from over. So, as the new season begins, the Suns face tough choices. Their draft assets are limited due to past salary cap decisions. Their veteran players have unclear trade value, and their young core is largely untouchable for now. Does the organization stay patient and trust their developmental process, or do they take drastic steps to accelerate their rebuild, possibly by moving a star? What do you think? Should the Suns keep building quietly or shake things up boldly? Share your perspectives and let's dive into this debate together.